And it's a challenging journey, as all these are, these pathways towards looking at ourselves through a magnifying glass or taking that really close look at yourself in the mirror. It's challenging and it is a path for the courageous. But if we allow ourselves to be challenged and to meet ourselves there, welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. If you believe that fertile energy, creative power, and embodied, resourced, nourished women will change the world, then you are in the right place. This is a space to support you to arrive deeper into relationship with yourself and your body, to explore the multifaceted experience of womanhood. It is my mission to guide women back into connection with their natural essence, to become the living embodiment of their true nature. Are you ready to join a community of women who are taking responsibility for our lives, our energy, women who are centered and rooted in ourselves, connected to our womb space and deeply nourished on a cellular level? If so, let's begin into this week's episode. Welcome to the community, my love. Hi, love. It's Rebecca, and welcome back to the Embodied Woman podcast. Today, we're going on a bit of a journey that is both deeply personal, something that I have traversed through over the past years or so, and also something that I hold space for other women to traverse and walk their way through along their healing journey. And it is a journey that deeply transforms our lives if we allow ourselves to be courageous enough to step through the historical patterns and imprints that have often kept us tightly bound into behaviors and beliefs that somewhat limit us or keep us at a distance from who we truly want to be or know we are here to be, and the life that we truly desire to live. And I like to call this journey the journey of releasing karma from your cells. And we can do that by walking this path of renourishing and remineralizing our bodies, deepening our somatic awareness, embodiment, and healing the patterns that have existed in our bodies and our lives historically. And often when we are courageous enough to walk this path of releasing the old, the debris from the body and from the cells, we are granted and gifted with a profound and beautiful transformation, an awakening, if we will, and an opportunity to rewrite the story of our life. So my journey began many years ago when I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. My body was in a constant state of overwhelm. I felt overloaded with life itself. And that often left me feeling tired and fatigued, anxious, and with this feeling of hollowness or dread in my chest and my heart space. I felt very shut down from myself and life as in relationships, family, friends, joy, the fullness of what life truly brings us. It felt as though my body was in this state of hibernation. There was a lot of holding on to old patterns and beliefs and stories. There was a lot of holding on to old life experiences and how they had impacted me. And I knew that they no longer served me. I knew there was something that needed to be altered or shifted, but I felt really stuck there. I felt stuck in my stories, in my patterns and my beliefs, my identities that existed there. And ultimately, what I came to recognize was that I felt stuck, and I was stuck there because my nervous system had been in a state of freeze for a very, very long time. And even with all the will and the desire to shift all of this, my body did not have enough energy, like cellular energy, nourishment, to move through that state of freeze, fawn, and hibernation, and through the energy, the emotions, the experiences that my body was still holding on to, and to mobilize them out and then land back into a place of resource and regulation and ease and just an overall availability to live life. So this is when I discovered remineralisation and nourishment of the body. So I had been walking my own path and facilitating a path for thousands of women already at this point in somatic healing, nervous system regulation, embodiment, feminine energy balancing and awakening, womb connection, womb healing. And I had seen so many shifts in my own world and in the world of other women too that I supported. But I recognized this piece that we could get so far before we would hit a bump or a block rather in the road. And for me, it was this deep realization that I could do all of the nervous system work, all of the embodiment that I was doing. But if my body did not have enough cellular energy, it didn't have enough nourishment, enough nutrient in excess, then I did not have enough energy to move through these karmic patterns that were holding me back, keeping me stuck in these loops of pattern and expression over and over again. So this is when I began to learn about how minerals are basically the supportive network and the spark plugs of every process in our bodies. They are essential for igniting the pathways that fuel energetic creations, connections, communications within our physical body. I began to realize that maybe I was minerally depleted and undernourished and did not have the adequate amount of energy to move my way through these imprints and karmic patterns that I had found myself existing in. I also recognized that I barely had enough energy to get through a day, and I was probably consuming the amount of energy that I would need to just about cover my basic physiological functions and a little bit more than that. I was very much surviving and not thriving. So I began the journey. Some hope started to arrive as I began to feel the shifts of it pretty much straight away. This process of renourishing and remineralizing my body began to support my nervous system in a way that I really didn't ever imagine would be possible. I had lived with a dysregulated nervous system for many years, and my conscious mind can kind of recognize that for at least between 10 to 14 years, upon reflection, I truly believe that I'd lived with a dysregulated nervous system since I was a very small child and had, a first kind of traumatic life experience that left me in a state of stress. So my body was in a state of stress for a long period of time. I was in a state of survival. My body had used up all its reserves, everything that was there to be used up, all its reserves of minerals. It was running on empty. And here I was asking it to break free of beliefs and patterns and identities, but it had no energy to do so. So as I began to give my body energy, I began to realize that we all need a certain amount of resource in our bodies to find safety and ease and move out of cycles of stress or states of trigger or reaction or dysregulation in our nervous system. And for me personally, I was very much trapped in a cycle of addiction to feeling depleted, an addiction to feeling stressed, and an addiction to a dysregulated state in my body. And this was in no way a conscious addiction. But what I began to understand was that I felt very safe in a state of dysregulation and depletion. For me, it was something that I recognized as very familiar for a very, very long time in my body and in my life. It was very challenging for me to feel safe at that point in time in a state of nourishment, ease, and overflow. But this is what this journey truly offered me. And this is something that I often witness in many of my clients too. There is not a conscious desire to be dysregulated and undernourished, but when the body has been running off stress hormones for long periods of time, and it has found a way to utilize that cocktail of hormones that get released in our bodies, it becomes quite happy there. They're very addictive waves of hormone that get released in our system. Feels like staying there is a good choice or a good option. And we often can feel quite energized there, although often we are ungrounded and dysregulated and in a state of fight and flight. And what I also witnessed in my own journey and many of the spaces I hold for women is that it's true, we can only stay at that place for so long before we enter into a different state in the body, a different stage of the stress cycle, and find our way into depletion. And the nervous system then goes into this state of freeze or fawn, internal hibernation. Everything slows down in order to survive. And this is where we can get stuck because then we do not have enough energy in our bodies to mobilize our way through the patterns and beliefs that have been etched into us, that we've conceived through our family lineage and our family systems, or that have been imprinted onto us from our society or our culture. And so this deep, profound cellular awakening journey began, and I realized this was a resurrection. This was a resurrection of parts of myself that were stuck in depletion, in undernourishment, and that had gained some kind of safety or acknowledgement there. And so the journey of clearing the energetic and emotional debris from the cells, the tissues, the body, the organs truly began. And it's a challenging journey, as all these are, these pathways towards looking at ourselves through a magnifying glass or taking that really close look at yourself in the mirror. It's challenging and it is a path for the courageous. But if we allow ourselves to be challenged and to meet ourselves there, it is a truly liberating experience to have. It asks us to face those past traumas, the unexpressed parts of ourselves, the unprocessed wounds that still live in the body, all of the experiences in life that were not mobilized through, that got trapped and stored within the nervous system, and that intricate web of fascia, tissues, ligaments in the body, as well as our emotional and energetic bodies too. Each layer that we peel back often reveals a more deeply ingrained pattern or belief below it. But with each layer that we are courageous enough to step forward to and to shed ourselves from, we can begin to gain lightness, ease, and cultivate some resource and regulation within our body. This is where a true softening and relaxation can arrive. And there's often that saying, which I love, have you ever met a relaxed woman? And for me, many years passed, and I would feel so far removed from what was obtainable. And I come to see now how it is available to us all, should we choose it and make aligned choices for ourselves and our lives towards becoming that. So I wanted to share also a beautiful story, a journey that I have been fortunate enough to witness in one of my clients. So this client came to me feeling drained and disconnected, much like I was once feeling too. Through our work and journey together, she began to understand the roles of minerals in her health and her body and started to replenish, restore, and renourish. As she was courageous enough to traverse that pathway of clearing out the old energetic and emotional debris from her body, she began to notice a shift. Her depression lifted, the anxious thoughts left her mind, and she began to understand that safety could be cultivated within her body, something that she had never thought possible for her ever before. As energy levels began to rise, she found a new sense of calm and ease in her body. I began to witness this woman bloom and flourish in front of my eyes. Here she was, brave and courageous enough to meet these challenging edges inside of herself, to place down the identities of being depleted, undernourished, and all that that meant for her, and courageous enough to turn and face towards the light and allow it to shine upon her. I cannot ever really put into words what it looks like from my point of view when I take this journey with other women, when I witness them arriving into my space after having moved through seasons of life that have felt challenging, stressful, depleting, painful, upsetting, and any other expression that you often find there. And to see how, with a space of nurture, a space of compassion and understanding and support, guidance and re-education, these women, and this client in particular that I speak of, she began to grow and bloom, and a new light filled her face, and it began to shine and radiate from her. A new felt sense of confidence bloomed within her, and she had more energy, more resource in her body, so that she could live the life that she felt most deeply aligned to within her heart, without sacrifice, with enough energy and a greater sense of understanding her body and her needs. As we as women move through this journey, we are able to see more clearly beliefs and stories and narratives that shape our choices or have shaped the choices we were once tied into making. We can begin to recognize our addictions to chaos, stress, disruption, and by acknowledging these patterns with compassion, we're able to realign ourselves to make new and different choices, to step out of the loops that we have been historically stuck in. But we can only do this when we have enough vital energy in our body to do so. It takes an incredible amount of energy to unravel and open and create new, healthier patterns that support our overall sense of well-being. It takes energy to turn towards cultivating resource to then regulate, calm, and ease our nervous system, metabolic processes and functions, guiding them back into a most optimal state. And of course, to welcome more joy, ease, flow, harmony, creativity, love, abundance, and fertility in whichever way that manifests for us all individually. Releasing the karma from your cells is a journey of deep transformation. It clears the way for the new to be born a pathway of embracing those healthier patterns and choices for ourselves that truly live in alignment to self-nourishment, self-nurture, and deep self-love. And the rewards of that are a calmer nervous system, balanced hormones, deeper sleep, reduced anxiety, a deeper sense of embodiment, and overall becoming more available for the life you wish to live and the woman you desire and know you are here to be. If you're ready, my love, to traverse the path of releasing karma and patterns from your body, cells, and pave the way for something new to be born in your life, you're ready for change, and you know you are deep, deep down inside, then the Embodied Woman group mentorship is for you. The doors are open, the spaces are limited, and we begin on the 5th of September 2020. The link with all the details is in the show notes of this episode, so scroll on down and click that. You will find everything you need there. There is also a link in the show notes to book a 20-minute connection call with me. If you have any questions, would like to explore anything further, or would just like to connect and have a chat about this mentorship program, then you can scroll on down and click that and book that in. If this podcast has touched your heart in some way, take a few deep breaths, place your feet on the ground, or better than that, the earth. Hold your body and know that you are courageous enough to take this journey. So that voice that whispers or shouts inside, it's time for a change. I'm here to guide you into that rebirth. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this episode, please share it far and wide with your sisterhood and community. You can dive deep into all of my offerings via rebecca-wilson.com. Links to all offerings are below in the show notes of this episode. If you would love to support the podcast, please like, subscribe, download, and share the episodes so my work and this message can reach more women around the world. Remember, my love, you are here to live a life fully, deeply inhabiting your body and your divine nature. I am here to show you how. Hey love, I'm just dropping in to share that the doors are open for the waitlist for the next round of Embodied Woman group mentorship. This is a journey like no other, a deep dive into embodiment, somatic awareness, self-honoring and healing practices, the journey of remineralisation, awakening your feminine energy and restoring the resources within your heart, body, wombs, cells, and overall vitality. This is my signature program, which launches twice a year. There are limited spaces for the intake. If you're feeling the call, head on down to the show notes in this episode, click the link and join the waitlist where you will receive more information soon. Hope you enjoyed the episode of this podcast. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, vital, and nourishing day.